Good evening, Hollywood. Allow me first to apologize for this mysterious appearance. I do, like many of you, appreciate the comforts of the everyday routine, the security of the familiar, the tranquility of repetition. I enjoy them as much as any bloke. But in the spirit of commemoration, whereby those important events of the past, usually associated with someone's death or the end of some awful bloody struggle, are celebrated with a nice holiday, I thought we could mark this 13th of July, a day that is sadly no longer remembered, by taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat. There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak. I suspect even now orders are being typed into text, into emails, and denials of service will soon be on their way. Why? Because while censorship may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there's something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there? Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression, and where once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and soliciting your submission. How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others, and they will be held accountable. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. I know why you did it. I know you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terrorism, swine flu. There are a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense. Fear got the best of you, and in your panic, you turned to the illegitimate President Barack Obama. He promised you change. He promised you hope. And all he demanded in return was your unquestioning, worshipful idolatry. Last night I sought to end that silence. Last night to remind this country of what it has forgotten. Innumerable eons ago, in the ancient land of Egypt, the sun god Ra was born on the 13th of July. More than 2,000 years ago, Julius Caesar was born on the 13th of July. 87 years ago, on the 13th of July, the Hollywood sign was officially dedicated in the hills above Hollywood. 69 years ago, on the 13th of July, a group of rebels living in Montenegro, which literally means Black Mountain, a country in southeastern Europe, forged the first uprising against the vampant fascism of Adolf Hitler and the Third Reich, Mussolini, and the rest of the Axis powers. 37 years ago, on the 13th of July, Mr. Alexander Butterfield revealed the existence of the Nixon tapes in the infamous Watergate scandal. 25 years ago, on the 13th of July, the Live 8 benefit concert took place in key cities around the world. And sometime in this great expanse of passing eons, I was born on the 13th of July. My hope on this day, the 13th of July, is to remind this world that fairness, justice, and freedom are more than words, they are perspectives. So if you've seen nothing, if the crimes of this government remain unknown to you, then I would suggest that you allow the 13th of July to pass unmarked. But if you see what I see, if you feel what I feel, and if you would seek as I seek, then I ask you to stand beside me 1 year from tonight in front of the Hollywood sign, and together we shall give them the 13th of July that shall never, ever be forgot. Good evening, Hollywood, once again. I address you on this Friday, the 23rd of July, to warn you of a new particular pending power grab by your fascist overlords, deathly terrified as they are by humanity's awakening consciousness. The latest of these draconian maneuvers would give your illegitimate President Barack Obama full power to control the internet in case of war. That's right, an internet kill switch. They are spinning this as a cyber security measure to be used only in case of emergency, but let's face it, we're always in a state of war now, aren't we? Why, just yesterday, the Senate approved another $60 billion for American soldiers to guard opium plantations in Afghanistan. What this cyber security bill will amount to, should it actually pass Congress, is the ability of your overlords to erase any opposition online to their erection of a so-called New World Order, one in which you would be only a microchipped, indebted, and obedient slave. And that's only if you're one of the few left alive. As an example, suppose further shreds of incontrovertible evidence appear on the internet proving Barack Obama's illegitimacy of serving as President of the United States. Well, these whistleblowers must be terrorists, and so their websites must be shut down in the name of national security. Or perhaps damning evidence emerges online documenting systematic and premeditated corporate murder of American celebrities. Well, the offended corporation can simply place a call, the website goes down, and a cybersecurity team armed with large guns will quickly be on its way. After all, in a world where mainstream media has become compromised to devilish schemes, all we are left with is the internet. What you must come to terms with, what you must understand, is that a fascist state had long been creeping into place, not only in the United States, but around the world. Banks, such as the Federal Reserve Bank, corporations such as Monsanto, Merck Pharmaceutical, and Sony, and the politicians that these banks and corporations control are the vehicles for this fascism, but they are now being exposed. It was very simple, actually. First it was overtaxation, and then outright theft in the form of bailouts. And the final straw was simply to bankrupt the country through futile, unnecessary wars such as Iraq and Afghanistan, until the currency collapses. It would be at this point, so they planned, the common people would have no choice but to accept their desired New World solution. But now, rebel infiltrators are exposing these globalist schemes. Oath Keepers have constructed their underground network within the police and military forces. More and more people are awakening and realizing the truth. I know you had hope in the man called Barack Obama. I know you wanted him to change all this. And then when he proved to do nothing more than take more money, take more rights, and start more war, I understand your outrage. But might I suggest, this man is nothing more than a fraud, a puppet, a buffoon, owing his allegiance to someone pulling his strings above him. I suggest you follow the puppet strings, follow the trail of money. So if you have heard none of this, if you pretend that this has not happened, then you should not be surprised when one day you have no more rights and no more change and hope at all. But if you seek, as I seek, and if you had had enough of political and economic crime in the form of fascism, I urge you to say no to the internet kill switch. And a warning to all the political and economic puppets who play the stage so darkly in this gambit. As symbols for the modern global fascist movement, your day of reckoning approaches. You shall continue to be exposed, stripped, prosecuted, dealt with. Your crimes will be fully presented for the world to see, and then you shall be punished. Mark my words.